Hey, I'm Matt with Meat Church. Let's make these bacon wrapped stuffed venison backstraps. Well, we just wrapped whitetail season here in Texas and had a few successful hunts and had a lot of comments on social media about more wild game videos, please. So we're gonna do one that's pretty easy today, but it's also really delicious. Most people's favorite cut of deer is the backstrap. And so that's what we're gonna work with today. Gonna give you a few key tips for those of you that are afraid of wild game. Wild game is the tastiest, organic, best meat you could ever have. And for those of you that ever say that something is too gamey, well, it's because you didn't handle it properly, because nothing should taste too gamey. So we're starting out with a whitetail that I shot, big buck. We've got a couple back straps here, and I wanna talk to you a little bit about how we got to this point. So these back straps have silver skin on them at first. Silver skin can cause a gamey taste. That and the sinew need to be removed. And so that's really easily done by taking a sharp fillet knife, putting the blade right underneath that silver skin, kind of angling the blade up, and then just lifting up and cutting away. You're gonna have to do that a few strips, but once you get that off, you're gonna have a much better dining experience. So we've got just a couple pieces here today. I didn't wanna cook the entire thing, so starting out with this. So when I cook wild game, I use our Holy Cow rub. Holy Cow is salt, pepper, garlic. For those of you that wonder why is it red, well, it's got a little bit of paprika oil to make it turn red, but it's SPG, and it's really coarse grind, and frankly, it is fantastic on venison and all wild game. I love it on duck, I love it on turkey, but we're gonna hold off on that a second. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to cut a little pocket in these so that we can stuff it. I've got one of my Montana hunting knives here that I thought would be appropriate. And you can do this a couple ways. We could butterfly this. I've seen people kind of make an incision and kind of fillet this thing all the way open into like a sheet, but I'm gonna stand it up on its side and I'm gonna cut a pocket in it basically. And what I'm doing here is I'm making a compartment for delicious cream cheese. I've got one cut open, now let's do the other. Now when I get my deer processed, if I'm not doing it myself, I will usually just say, give me the back straps whole or in pieces, because this is, you know, you could cut these into steaks, you can do all kinds of stuff with this. You don't need any special processing with this. So after I make a nice quick little incision, then I'm gonna open it up and try to make this a little bit deeper, kind of fine tune it a little bit so I can put maximum cream cheese in here. Okay, you could stuff this with whatever you want, but what I find is delicious is like a whipped cream cheese. This has jalapeno in it. Some people say this is cream cheese spread, whatever you want to call it. I know it's delicious. So we're just gonna load it up here. Some people would say you don't want to put too much in it. I think the more the better. Now we do want to be able to close this up ultimately, so I think that's gonna be a pretty good amount, which was honestly quite a bit. Let me do the second one. I first learned of stuffing these from my man Justin, Duck Commander. If he says it's delicious, well, that Louisiana boy can cook. All right, so I wanna be able to close it up. I feel really good about that. All right, now we've got those stuffed. Now I'm gonna put the Holy Cow on it that I talked about. Now, I'm going to add another layer of bacon on the outside of this and season that, so I'm not gonna season these too much. I would say this is like light to moderate. Get our seasonings at meatchurch.com. All of our recipes are on meatchurch.com. All of our merch, our seasonings are absolutely the freshest in the business. We don't store them in a 3PL provider. We produce these and ship them within days. But like I always say, use whatever you like. So again, I wanna add another tasty element to these. I think I'm gonna make a bacon weave. I could just wrap these in bacon. I'm gonna make a little bacon weave here on some parchment paper, and I'm gonna wrap these up in that bacon. I like to use parchment paper making a bacon weave. That way the bacon doesn't stick to it. So I'm kind of guessing at how big this needs to be. We'll see how it turns out here, and we'll just adjust on the fly. If it's too small, we'll try to stretch the bacon. If it's too big, we'll trim it down. I think 7 across is gonna be good. Now we gotta go the other direction. You wanna flip every other piece back. Lay down your next piece. Not only is this delicious, it's also fun. All right, beautiful bacon weave. Here we go. I'm gonna do a light application of seasoning right here because I'm gonna put a lot more of it on the outside. Our hickory is delicious, one of our most popular seasonings. You can get this at meatchurch.com or at Ace Hardware. All right, let's see how we did here. Kind of use the parchment paper to help roll it up. Go. Gonna get some toothpicks and just kind of bring all this bacon here on the end together. Might have been one piece of bacon too much, but that's all right. All right, let's season the outside of that. All right, I had an idea that I would put these on a cedar plank. Presents nicely, but honestly, a little more for the grilling aspect. So anytime you're cooking bacon at a little hotter temperature, might ensure that the bacon doesn't stick to the cooking grate. And if you're using a direct grill, then you're gonna wanna soak these and it'd add a little more protection as well. But let's talk about cooking. I'm gonna go 325 degrees today. You could smoke these as low as like 250 if you want, but I like to go a little bit hotter myself, give the bacon a little better shot at rendering and getting it a little more crispy. I'm not trying to make the crispiest bacon ever, but I like to cook venison a little bit hotter. So I'm going 325 on the new Traeger Wood Ridge. I'm using Meat Church pellets, which is a mix of oak and hickory. You could use mesquite, you could use hickory. All those are really smoky. If you want a little less smoke, go pecan. If you want just subtle smoke, then go alder, maple, or a fruit wood. But love this little grill. It's got the new keg system for easy clean out. It's got all the tech that Traeger's known for in it. Connects with the app, and it's a really great price point, and it hardly burns any pellets, so love it. In we go. I'm gonna throw these in, and we'll check them along the way and keep you posted. Well, these back straps have been cooking for an hour. I glazed them just about 5 minutes ago. Ooh, they look good. So I treat venison like a steak, and I'm going medium rare, which is 130 to 135, but with wild game, you always want to err on a little bit of the less done side because it'll dry out real quick. So for me, I'm pulling venison by 125 personally. So at 120 degrees internal temperature, I went ahead and glazed these. I used my buddy Wes's Big Wicks here, mesquite smoked jalapeno glaze. This stuff is delicious. It's not hot, it's just a great jalapeno flavor. You guys, if you followed me for a while, you know I've been using this stuff for years, made right here in Texas. So it'll give us just like a beautiful sheen on this, but it's gonna give it a really complimentary flavor. You've got that cream cheese in the middle with jalapeno in it, and you put that glaze on the outside. Honestly, is really just gonna kind of set these off. So I just glazed it at the very end, kind of let that glaze tack up. These things are gonna be atomic, especially with that cream cheese in it. So I'm gonna go grab something special to drink, and then we're gonna cut into these. Told you I was gonna get something special to drink. Well, this is my pick of Weller Antique 107. If you've never watched that video, I'll put a card up here for it. Super special visit. And again, I posted this on Instagram the night before I shot this big buck, so it's gotta be good luck. And it pairs perfectly with this. Okay, well, moment of truth here. Probably gonna be a little bit messy, but here we go. Cream cheesy. Cut a big slice. Let me show you the old cross section. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Whew. I definitely didn't let it cool off enough, but that's okay. I got a pretty good pile of cream cheese over here. So medium rare, I gotta hold that back up and show you. If you can see in the meat there, you can still see the pink in there. Super juicy. I ain't mad about the mess. Freaking love it. Here we go, I want all that bacon. Mmm. That's so damn good. Super juicy. Like, look at all that moisture right there. Not only is wrapping in bacon delicious, but it's gonna protect that really lean meat. Plus, we stuffed it with a bunch of cream cheese. I'm gonna tell you, this is my favorite wild game thing I've ever made. That is money. Ah, that is so good. Highly recommend not taking it any more than 125. And I kept temping it here. It didn't rise too much. I got some that hit like, I think like 128. So we just barely got to medium rare, but that is money. You have to make this. If you're an outdoorsman, you're a hunter, you have to do that. If you don't have any venison, well, sorry. You could do this with beef, or you could do it with pork, or anything else. You could mimic this with whatever you want. But 10-10, highly recommend. This is going in the wild game playlist. Appreciate you guys being here. Like and subscribe on our race to 1 million. See you guys next Wednesday.